Welcome, everyone, to Episodes Unscripted. I am Scott Feltz, joined by Shauna Fretwell.
Hello, hello.
And Charlie Harcum.
All right.
This is episode 4 of Stranger Things, and we're going to dive right into it. All right, recap. Stranger Things, episode 4, season 1. Will's body is found. Body, quote unquote. We pick up where we left off in the last one, where Will's body was discovered in the quarry. Joyce is still convinced that Will is alive, refuses to believe it's him. She tells Hopper that Will's been communicating with her through the lights. I just love the way the lights. All right, anyway, not yet. Hopper investigates the body, so eventually he becomes suspicious. He sneaks into the morgue. Before he sneaks into the morgue, he goes to the bar.
It's my favorite scene of this whole
with
episode.
that guy and does a little, and then beats him up and gets information out of him. And then goes to the morgue and discovers that the body is fake. It's stuffed with cotton. And that was such a bold, I'm just going to jab a knife in the thing and hope that I'm right.
He's the best, y'all.
Realizing something strange is happening, he decides to dig deeper, obviously. Found a fake body. 11 helps find Will. They, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas continue trying to find Will, and 11 uses her powers, tunes a radio, and transmits Will's voice, proving he's still alive, which I thought it was interesting because he's talking to his mom and responding, and they're not picking up on it. And I'm like, wait a minute, we're not the only ones talking to him right now. Yeah. What is this from? Is this now? Are we? Yeah. Let's see. Jonathan gets into an argument with Steve at school.
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss that bit?
I don't remember that either. I remember Jonathan and Nancy finally have a conversation.
And Nancy and Jonathan.
We'll move past it for the moment. Joyce sees Will through the wall.
Literally sees him.
Yeah, we'll get to that. This confirms her belief that he's still alive and trapped somewhere beyond her world.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun. Hopper uncovers the lab's secrets. He breaks into the lab. Does he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that
He
happening.
punched a dude in the face.
Mm-hmm.
He pretended he left something.
That was going into the morgue, though.
Oh, yeah. At the very end, he cuts the chain. He cuts the fence. And then that was the
that's
last
right. But
scene.
that's it. The
That's all
last
we
shot
saw.
is him cutting the chain. Okay, yeah. All right, Chat GPT. You got a little work to do, but that's okay. You did good. Let me pull up my notes. I want to start by just reiterating that I'm sick and tired of 11's lack of communication skills and information. How do we know what she knows and what she doesn't?
It's got to get better.
She understands the concept of pretty, but it just... I can't... And they're he's like, is that Will? Is that? And she's just got this, blank face, like...
Mike. Will.
Right. Tell me something. What do you... Can only Shauna's face right now. No thoughts. Just...
She's being hell.
I liked Mike's mom.
Of course you do. Good grief. Jeez Louise.
I was going to follow that up with something. I like that she's trying to convince Mike, hey, it's cool. We're having a good time. We can get something from Blockbuster, whatever. I don't think she's
video store.
She's like R-rated.
She's like, it can even be R-rated. And I thought, okay, if you guys had a kid that age, would you go for that to cheer him up? Like, hey, if you want to get an R-rated movie.
I
feel like R-rated movies used to be a way bigger deal.
Yeah, it was. It was like, what?
So it'd get you excited if you were the kid, but if you're the parent, would you be like,
no, I wouldn't
we could
use
get
that
an R-rated movie?
No, it's
I
weird
wasn't
because
okay
like
with
if
that.
you can't watch R-rated movies, there's a reason for that. So in this moment, it's probably not going to change. But I totally understand what she was trying to do, right? Like she was trying to bring him back to life a little.
Your kids would eat it up. They would love it.
Did y'all notice though, before she even said that, she's like, "Hey, you want to grab a book and come with me?" That's literally what she said. You want to
don't-
grab
That's
a
what she used to have
book
to do,
and
though.
come with me. Like,
We couldn't grab the iPad at that
right.
point.
I just don't remember ever, oh, we're going to ride to town. Let me grab a book. It was just an odd thing. I think it almost felt like a, hey, we're going to make sure you know we're still in 1986 or
Right. We're in the
Yeah.
80s.
No,
and-
I used to do that. Yeah, like you'd grab a book or even like a coloring book.
But
or something.
was that like a normal dialogue? You want to
You wanna
grab a book?
and I don't know.
when you say it like that? No, but I did always grab a book. I don't know that anybody asked me if I wanted to,
Yeah.
but I would just bring one along because usually running errands with your mom, it's not that
I
exciting.
do remember one time riding somewhere with Daddy, and I had gotten into this Agatha Christie
Daddy.
book
Daddy?
reading stuff. Daddy. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And
Hardcore, man.
I went and got the book, and as we were driving, I was reading it or something, and I think he even looked at me and said, "What are you doing?" I was like,
Like, are you
I'm
reading
reading
a
his
book?
book. It's ugh. So maybe
Oh, man.
he never told me, hey, go grab a book, we're riding to town. But I guess I did
Right.
anyway.
He looked at you like, did you just grab
Did
a
you-
book?
What are you doing?
Are you my child? Okay. No, that's cool. That's
Hey, remind me of this. When did Will like poke through the wall? Not her seeing him, but that was at the end of the last episode, right? When he like or something.
It wasn't him though.
him.
It was the
Yeah.
Demogorgon. Yeah, it was the end of the last episode, and she ran
Did
out of her house.
Scott, I don't know if you've seen I think it's the original Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, there's a real famous scene where Freddy is over the bed pushing through the wall just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought it was when they were inside of him.
That too. That happens too. But they're
Okay.
showing over the person's bed, and of course they're asleep, and he's pushing through the wall. It looks just like that. And I wrote
Does
down that's a little bit of a Nightmare on Elm Street nod. Even though,
Okay.
well I'll bring that up later.
Okay.
Was Nightmare on Elm Street the 70s?
No, that's where I was actually going. It came out in 84.
Okay.
And we're in 86.
What year are we in? Do we remember? 86. Oh, okay.
Or vice versa.
Hmm.
No, that's right. The first one came out in 84. Yep.
Why can't we?
Go ahead. Yep.
Oh. Why can't we turn the walkie-talkie off? When Mike is trying to get a hold of Lucas, and he's like, I'll keep saying it, Lucas.
You totally can.
And I'm like, okay, he could just turn it
Yeah.
off. It's not like it's
Or change
You know.
the channel and you're done.
right, and we're good. Oh, can't hear anymore. A side note to that is I don't know why Mike, when they dress up 11, he's putting makeup on her. Like he knows what he's doing. Like
got
he's
an older
got a
sister.
brush and everything, and he's
Applying.
Yeah, that is interesting. He's got an older sister, so maybe he had some idea.
what is that? He's putting foundation on.
Blush. I don't think he'd
Blush?
be putting foundation on her.
I don't
Duh,
know.
Scott,
That's my
what
point.
a dumb
I don't
thing
even
to
know what it
say.
is.
Foundation? Are you dumb? Jeez.
Like what does he know about putting on makeup?
That's a good point.
And then, she walks out and he's like, pretty good. Pretty
Oh.
good. Not pretty. I wouldn't say I'm
Right.
pretty. And she understood it. Pretty.
Of course she did.
Yeah, that's
She's just
him.
being L.
Right.
Annoying.
But then when they're like, is Will alive?
Mm.
Wish somebody would tell you, huh? I'll just ominously point you to a radio and not give you any information.
Okay, I was thinking about this though. Okay, to her credit, I agree with what y'all are saying, but perhaps she doesn't have the verbiage to fully explain her experience in what she can do and how she can do it because she doesn't fully understand it herself. And how do you explain to people that you've been essentially a lab rat for however long? Like there's a little
That's
bit
fair,
of
but
nuance
it's-
there for her.
My
that's
problem is
tricky.
more like the fact that she doesn't talk.
She won't even make a noise
She-
or say a word
She doesn't
when they
even
talk to
when they're
her.
like, "Is that Will? Is he alive?" And she just sits there like, "Hell if I know. I don't. I
Oh,
don't
are you
know."
talking to
No,
me?
I
What's
don't
the
totally
sound?
disagree with you. I think they're
I'm
trying
sorry.
to communicate too that she's traumatized. That like her experience in there was
Yeah,
traumatizing. She's nonverbal. She lacks communication skills because she hasn't been in the world. I think it's just their attempt to like really make you understand that.
it's just those moments. It's so good when they look at her and they're like, "The power lines," like a dog. Like, huh? What is that?
It's
Ah.
traumatizing me.
You can go talk to somebody.
I don't like fake tears, and I hate it unless somebody else can sit here right now and prove it. Tears don't fall from the center of your eye;
Mm-mm.
No.
they fall from the corners.
Well, unless your eyes are so full of tears that they're coming from multiple
Right, it
Which
comes
drop
later.
points.
The first
At
drop
that point,
doesn't come
though-
from the middle,
so you know when it's eye drops,
of course.
and it happened with Jonathan, and it comes from the straight from the middle of his eye, and I'm like, I mean. He
Mm.
doesn't have to sit there and force tears. I just don't understand why do we have to do that? Like, oh, all right.
Well,
Let's tear him
otherwise
up.
they would.
He can show.
Yeah, why don't they make it come from the corner?
Well, I don't think it's them. I mean, they're putting eye drops in, and so at that point, he has so much water in his eye that it's gonna fall straight down, rather than it,
I
slowly
mean, they should just cry
accumulating.
on command like me.
Well, my argument though is, does he doesn't have to. Like, I get it. It's an emotional scene, but I think, he can portray that without a fake tear shedding on his face. I don't know. I just don't like it because every time
It
I
takes
see it,
you
I
out
think
of the scene.
it almost bugs me because the way it falls, it's not satisfying.
Never.
Because there's an itch on the inside of my eye that I'm like, nope, that's where it's supposed to be. Yeah. I don't know. It definitely takes me out of it. And just,
Uh,
but I'm sorry. Go
I'm
ahead.
changing subject.
Yeah, that's fine. It was.
I just felt so. Can you imagine the frustration? I mean, Joyce is going through it, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
And, she's trying to explain everything. And yeah, I mean, more than likely everything she's saying is right. But nobody else has experienced what she has. So I'm just imagining the frustration that she's feeling trying to explain this to everybody. That'll wear you out mentally and just, oh my gosh, nobody believes me what I'm saying.
What did she say? She said, she's like, she kept reiterating, I know I sound crazy.
Yes.
Which is validating now to hear, because I'm thinking you weren't even acting like you sounded crazy before. But to say you sound crazy, that's good. But to tell like Hopper, like, I know this is crazy. You have got to believe me.
It would give you trust issues, actually.
Right.
Because you're like, I got nobody that's even willing to entertain this for a second or dig a little deeper with me
Right.
here. They're all just like, nope.
Which is brutal because I think she knows, like, yeah, no, I get it. I know why you guys don't believe me, but you got to. You just have to
it
anyway.
would play into that insecurity. She's already a struggling single mom who has a lot on her plate, and she's already kind of a hot mess. So she's like, I understand.
Well, not even that. It's the fact that she recognizes, I know this is crazy. I know
Right.
what I'm saying is bonkers.
I
You
feel
have
like
to believe it anyway, though. You've
right.
got to
Well,
trust
she
me.
acknowledges throughout. Like, I feel like she says it at several different points. Like, guys, I know this is crazy.
Yeah.
I know this is wild. I wouldn't believe this either, but please.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The fact that she even recognizes, and it's like there's still
Right.
Then eventually I'd be like, you know what? Forget all of you.
Okay, but to that same point though, in this very episode, both of the guys have that moment of realization and switch. They haven't addressed her about it yet. But Jonathan's I actually wrote down because I thought it was awesome. The moment he realizes when he's with Nancy and she's describing this thing she saw, and you can see in his face like, Oh my God.
without a face or
I
whatever.
love it.
Did it
so
not have a
spooky.
face?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's so spooky. I love it.
But that realization in him is like, oh crap, my mom is not crazy. And then similarly with Hopper, when he's interrogating the guy, even just the thought though to go, okay, you know what? I'm gonna call this into question a little bit because it is weird that he didn't do the autopsy. Joyce is saying all this. I'll exercise it in the slightest, and I'll go, question this guy. And then he starts to. It's two very different ways to get there, but at some point they both get to the point of, okay, she is crazy, but not for this reason.
I was getting so mad.
Emotional.
No, not
You were
emotional
crying.
this time. Just mad. Of course, I'm thinking, okay, everybody has jumped to this conclusion that it was Will. Even at the end of the last episode, the body was Will.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, it can't be Will because, I mean, he's going to be integral to this season. Like, no, it's not Will. And it wasn't until I realized, oh, something nefarious is going on here. I was thinking, wait a minute, we're having a funeral and nobody's even looked to see, oh, wait a minute, this isn't Will. This is Barbara, whoever it might be.
But they...
And then come to see, oh, no, something even more deeper and sinister is going on here, fake body or whatever. I was so mad. I'm like, why are they pretending a funeral? Why are we having a funeral? It's not Will. Just look at him.
But the thing is, I don't think, but it looked like him. That was the point.
It was, yeah, he was made to look.
Well, I don't think I realized that until Hopper even did his own little autopsy. Like before that, did we ever see it, the body, and think, oh, that's Will? Or maybe that's Will.
I think we just accepted the fact that...
Yeah, I didn't. And I'm like, why are y'all pretending like it's Will? You haven't even looked at the body. But maybe they had...
He says that at the beginning of the episode when he's like, when she's saying, no, he's still alive. And he's like, get some sleep tonight. Tomorrow I want you to go down to the morgue and see your kid.
You get the impression that other people have seen him and can confirm.
Right. I think it's implied.
Yeah.
Okay. It's got to look like him then, because...
I wasn't picking up on the implication, and so I'm like, why are we having a funeral? It's not Will. Like it's a different body.
Then
but then
like wasn't. Even seeing it, the body in the morgue.
Yep.
And of course Jonathan goes run off.
He felt
for
sick.
eye drops. And and she's like just stone faced with her arms crossed, like, okay. His right arm,
the birthmark.
There's a birthmark. Can you check that? Like, no. This is a formality here. I need to get this. Yeah, she was that convinced that
take no prisoners.
Oh, can I squeeze in my I almost cried section of this episode?
Yeah, please.
This was really good. I don't remember if it was maybe Joyce was still looking at the body. Jonathan had come out. I don't know if Hopper was there, but anyway, at some point, Hopper and Jonathan were side by side, and they were just sitting, the two of them, and Hopper's kind of talking to Jonathan. I thought, oh, it really would make me cry. Because Jonathan, does not have that father figure necessarily, and Hopper, he wasn't really being the father figure, but it had a little bit of a hint to that. Yeah. And you could just see Jonathan being like, oh, this is somebody maybe I can look up to, or there was something cool going on there. And I was thinking, oh, poor Jonathan. Like, he's going through it too, and he's got nobody because his mom she can't be there, and she can't be strong for him right now.
And the kids at school bully him because he's taking pictures of him.
I wrote down again, I'm pretty sure you would bully Jonathan. I don't even know why I wrote it down this time.
Listen.
But I did.
Jonathan would be fine with me. I would have no issue with him. But if I saw those pictures that he took from the woods, there was no explanation he would be able to give that would make it make sense.
We got a little bit
Why
more.
do you
of
have a picture of Nancy taking off her shirt through the window? What are you doing? There's no explanation for that you're going to sell me on that makes him not a creep.
I'm trying to remember what they said in the dark room when they were, doing those pictures. Because she even brought it up to him then. And she almost smiled about it, which was like, wait a minute, don't act like it was okay.
You like
right.
this. Yeah,
I almost thought for a second there, she's going to be like, oh.
Yeah. I can understand her feeling sorry for him. Like when they're bullying him and she's not, and she's kind of like, and then she helped him pick up the pictures afterwards, whatever. I can appreciate the fact that she feels bad for him because, again, I don't know that smashing his camera is the solution. Right. I'm not going to go tell his parents. Like, you snitch. Hey, so by the way, I know your son's missing. So I can appreciate that, but also, yeah, what are you taking pictures for, creep? No. And then think about the fact that he took one that they found out had like evidence in it. Like, oh, that's it.
Right.
Now he's got to go take it to the police and be like, hey, so don't ask why.
Yeah, but I got some good pictures you might want to see.
But this is important. What were you doing? Where were you at? We don't need to get back into that. Just trust. Because then he would seem in cahoots to the police.
That's right.
Because why is he there? They have no reason.
He might be the man with no face.
Right. Or why are you taking pictures of it? Like, there's...
was that illegal back in the 80s? Maybe not.
Taking pictures from the woods through someone's house? Is that not...
invasion of privacy?
If I take a picture of you through your window...
But I'm standing on my property. I mean, what?
Well, you're not. You're standing in the woods. I'm taking a picture from the woods of you through your window. What is that? That's not illegal?
It's a good question.
That's stalking. It's stalking.
I guess, I think when you're in your private residence, but like when you're out in public, you have no expectation.
Sure, but they were not in public.
So you still hate Jonathan. Okay, we got it.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him. I just think that was creepy, and at no point did he try and justify it. He just kind of knew it was creepy and pretended like he didn't do it. Not even.
Yeah, he's in the dark room. Denied it.
He didn't. He even almost had a little bit of an explanation
of a smirk
in the dark room.
He thought it was
because she said even this picture.
Smug about it.
He's like, I know I shouldn't have. I can't remember what he said now, but he had a. It didn't make it okay, but he had a explanation.
Why did they bust into the school so loud? The auditorium.
Yeah. Yes.
That was ridiculous. What is that? Well, you can't open a door.
That was
everybody looks over like, what? Dramatic effect.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Also, and then real quick, they did the classic. We got this weirdo girl here, but we're going to dress her up and put a wig, make her look pretty. Oh, look, she's actually pretty. You know, all those cliche movies that came out where
she puts a wig on and a little bit of makeup, and it's like, what?
One of them, they literally just like take the girl's glasses off of her and take her hair down, and they're like, oh my gosh, what?
She's gorgeous. She can't see anything, but she's gorgeous.
But what's the Rachel Lee Cook movie?
Yeah.
From back in that's the
Freddie Prinze,
all that.
Isn't that the one?
Yes, that movie was the epitome of that.
She comes down the steps, and you're like,
yes.
All they did was take her glasses off and put her hair down, and took her out of her overalls.
And it's like
game changer. Right. No, Mike put makeup on her too.
Yeah, true that.
He was doing her makeup, so I don't like that. The bully. I'm not going to get into the whole bully thing. It's just like the Levin argument. It's redundant at this point. We get it. We don't even.
But we finally got the good bully scene where they got theirs.
Because that was the worst.
We did, but I have problems with that too, because we're okay. The session, whatever, this assembly's over, and all these kids are leaving. Apparently, all the adults left the room first. They're like, "Guys, get out, get out, get out," because there's this whole scene playing down. in the middle, and all the other kids hear it because they stop and look like, oh, they're about to fight. Is there not an adult anywhere? Did they all scatter immediately
Yeah.
and leave all these kids? Is there not like that one teacher that's supposed to make sure the last kid doesn't run off? Like, you stay, follow the.
It was the 80s. There's no protocol.
That's right.
They're like,
Every man
all
for
right, I'm going
himself.
back to my class. I got
Every
stuff
man
to
for
do.
himself.
That's okay. That was just like,
We were built different
wow.
back then.
I mean, that was convenient that they all just left. And then somebody at some point realized, all the adults are still walking down the hall, and they turn around and there's no kids. And they're like, oh, we should wait a minute. And they walk in. What are y'all doing in here? Like, how long did it take you to realize? Okay. It's embarrassing.
This is just me. And yes, sometimes I struggle to keep up in some of the episodes. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah.
I think I'm just I guess we'll figure it out maybe, or maybe we already know and y'all can tell me. I think I'm just in general confused as to why whoever made the body look like Will, why did they make the body look like Will? You know what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Like, how?
No, why? Who?
Because, well, the implication here, right, is that, these guys in this lab, we found out they're fishy. They did a lot of work, a bunch of kids missing. They got something going on in that lab, and then Hop realized, they're kind of taking over they're doing something. They're planting this body here so that we don't find something or we don't know something.
So that we just think, okay, case closed.
The implication is that,
and move on.
that lab is up to no good, and
so they thought,
but they were hoping
this will put an end to it.
We'll make it
Dexter
look like
situation.
give him a body,
plant
don't
a
let
body.
them do an autopsy.
Okay.
Well, yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Don't look behind
I
the curtain.
guess that helps. Okay.
Just get everybody to accept that. Okay,
Right.
that's him.
But we still don't know where Barbara. I mean, we know, but like her body's not.
Yeah, we're not concerned about Barbara. We have to find Will.
Well, I was going to say, but poor Nancy, let's give her some credit because she worked really, really hard to try to keep that conversation. Oh, I know what I made a note about
such
for
a
this
butthead.
episode. Steve sucks. I did not appreciate at all the two male police officers that were interrogating her, and they're asking her questions about the timeline. Y'all know what I'm about to say. That timeline. And then they start to like badger her and really give her a hard time about the whole Steve thing. Talking about, you just went upstairs.
Yeah.
You just went upstairs and changed your clothes.
Yep.
And I was like, if I was Mrs. Wheeler, I'd have thrown a chair. Like, what are you doing right now? She's 15, 16 years old, and they're making fun of her and like shaming her. Maybe that was, I sort of was like, okay, that's again the time frame, right?
80s,
Where people were, but I'm like, there should have never been a male officer asking her those questions anyway.
I don't know if they were making fun of her.
No, they were completely inappropriate.
Well, no, I think they just knew that she was lying.
Right, but to address it in that manner, like it was so unprofessional, and they got almost kind of like, oh, that's it? That's all you did? Really? I just didn't like it. If I were a parent, I would have been like, nope, this conversation's over. Like, see ya.
I thought it was interesting, Mrs. Wheeler sitting there having it's interesting. I guess she has to be there. Her daughter's underage, like part of the,
Yeah,
and dad's at work.
Sit by themselves.
Well, I don't like legally she had to be there, but I
Right.
thought it was interesting. She's having to sit there and keep her composure, and like hearing all these things, like, "Oh my god,
Yeah, these police officers
I
are
want to kill you. You
Right.
slept with a boy and didn't tell me." Okay, and like the good conservative woman she is, she goes home and the first thing she says is, "You lied to the police? What are you doing? They're the police.
you
You can't lie to them."
everything about that rubbed me the wrong way.
And then she's like, she's like, we slept together. That's what you want to hear? Like, whoa. All right. It's out there now. Like you've at some point you could have kept denying it, but here
I
we
felt
go.
her frustration in that because it felt like the police officers, even her mom, everybody was so hung up on that part. And she's like, I get it, but also my friend is missing. Can we please stop talking about?
It was probably a way for them to, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they took the focus off the missing girl and were like, but did you? But
well, I think their point.
It's like, okay, everybody.
I think their point was like, okay, we know you're lying. So, you're talking about, we were just hanging out upstairs. Like there was nothing going on. He's like, is this before or after you changed clothes? I think the idea is that they probably could have just, pocketed that.
The answer to that question wasn't going to help them.
Okay, so we both know she was lying, right?
Right,
like,
and that she's not lying about everything just because she didn't want to talk about that piece. That doesn't
Well, I think from their perspective, they're thinking like, okay, you're lying. We don't know what's going on here. Like we don't know what else you could be. You're obviously not telling the full truth because you're either scared you're going to get in trouble.
And that's what I mean is that it's not that she's fabricating the whole thing just because she doesn't want to get busted for sleeping with her boyfriend. Like she's omitting that part because she doesn't want to get in trouble, but that doesn't mean that like everything else she's saying.
Yeah, but they don't. That's what I'm saying. They don't know that. They don't know her, so they don't,
which is fair. But I feel like
okay, she's lying about this. We don't know what else she could be lying about,
which is fair. But I think
in trouble.
as an adult, she doesn't want to get in trouble for that piece. So it would cross my mind, like, okay, everything else might hold water, but no, she's not going to want to openly admit that she went upstairs and had sex with her boyfriend because when you're a teenager, you just don't want to have to say that.
Which is true. I think too, though, there's the other perspective of, well, if you lied about that. Maybe you did something to Barb and you don't want to get in trouble about it. Or maybe you know where she's at, but she'll get in trouble and you don't want to tell us. So
right. Except for the fact that she was the one that really seemed like she was driving the conversation. She wanted people to keep talking about that.
I think that might be the point where you'd back off. Because if she wasn't, then it'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to let you know we know you're lying. Yeah. So maybe you tell the truth.
She was not avoiding the conversation. She was actively looking for her, talking to people. Like she was adamantly looking for her friend, and the conversation just kept veering back to whether or not she slept with Steve. So I totally understand why by the time she got mad at her mom, she was just over it because it wasn't the point, but that seemed to be where everybody kept coming back to. Meanwhile, Barb
Steve
is missing.
mentioned he had a great point then when they got into an argument earlier, and she's like, he's like, oh crap. We're going to get in so much trouble.
Right. Just don't talk about the beer.
Don't tell my dad.
Okay.
She's like, Barb's gone. Yeah, but just my dad. He's the worst. Just don't.
Because let's not pretend like Steve cares about Barb for us.
So, all that to say, I think Steve, he was on to something there. Because he knew when those police interrogate you, they don't care about Barb. They're going to be worried about the beer. Don't tell them we had beer. Keep it on the DL.
I feel like that was just another like typical teenage boy write-in. You know what I mean? Like the cliche.
Right. We gotta continue to stomp down on Steve. So potentially maybe in the future he can redeem himself.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck, did you think the cops did a good job?
In the interview?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know if they were there. If they were there just to figure out, hey, let's talk Barb, then no, I don't think they did a good job because it got way too much about. Yeah, I don't think
they were there to solve the case of Steve and Nancy, and if they hooked up when they went upstairs.
I remember
there might have been a little bit of desire in what's his face, the white dude, to like, I know you're lying and your mom's here, and I'm about to let her know you're lying.
Hop wasn't there to supervise, so he was like, "Yeah, I'm on."
Yeah, he was like, "I'll take the lead."
Hop would have never let that happen. He would have
Hop would have sat there and made that face, like, okay. He does that thing. Everybody he interacts with, it's like he just takes it in and processes it. Like
he does do the little
puzzle together in my own head.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got like a nervous tick when he's mulling something over.
Also, we got another one of those after Sarah. You know, like
What?
when he was either him or somebody else
Oh.
dropped Sarah's name. And it's like,
He did.
yeah. Was it when he was
When
in the
he was
bar with the guy?
pretending-
Yeah.
Yeah, and he
I'm
was.
like, okay.
Another Easter
Yeah,
egg.
let's. Okay.
I thought, that was good though, because I thought it was a flashback at first, and then I realized, he's
He's really there doing that.
undercover.
Yeah. Not doing that guy. Interrogating that guy.
Mm-mm.
Fixing to beat him
Yeah.
up in the alley.
Oof.
The the moment when they're sitting in the room by the radio, and 11 is doing her magic
In the
she,
school?
you know, she closed her eyes. Yeah. And they're all standing around, and Mike's like, she's doing it. She's finding Will. And Lucas goes, calm down. She just closed her eyes.
Lucas is here for
Yeah.
none of it.
We're still on
Like,
board with
nothing's
Lucas.
happened
Like,
yet.
dude, y'all are crazy. Like, nothing's happened.
Right. Nothing's. She just closed her eyes. Relax. Nothing has happened yet. But then,
Somebody's
of course,
got to be there to bring them all down to earth.
again, the whole. So then, Joyce is seeing him through the wall. I feel like the laws of nature are broken in so many ways here. I don't know the rules of this other realm that he's in, but it's confusing. Because then it fades away. Is it only per, like, when it would be convenient for the plot? How would
Probably
the
right now. Maybe in future
Demogorgon
episodes
come
we'll
through the
figure it
wall?
out.
How does he come through the wall? The wall, it's not.
Don't know.
But then other times it's just a regular wall. It's whenever he chooses. You know what?
Yeah. And at some
I don't get
point,
it.
when she was seeing him and she kind of peeled back the wallpaper, you know, and she could see
Yeah.
him, and then it was over, and it was like it grew back over,
faded
like
back.
it fixed itself or something. Yeah. There's a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
what I'm saying. It's
unclear
like,
how
how
physics
did the
work.
wall know? The wall knows. Okay, your conversations. We're wrapping it up.
I feel like
We
we're going to
gotta-
get answers to everything. We're going to be, okay, this makes sense. This makes sense.
Mhm.
Speaking
We're
of
getting close.
Speaking of that wall, well, I'll go around the room. Scott, you think you could take an axe and chop a hole through the wall of
Through
a
that-
house? And that was a pretty big hole too.
An exterior wall
Right.
too. That was no interior.
Do you think you could?
wall? That
What
I
was-
don't think it'd be as easy as she made it look.
Shauna, you think you
I
could
don't
pull
kn-
that off?
I don't think.
the house was a little rickety.
It is. I was going to say that.
It's a little
It's
rickety.
a rundown.
I think with that amount of adrenaline pumping through your veins,
An exterior wall.
exciting though, right? It's not brick,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
been around a while. If you told me there were termites in those walls, it wouldn't shock me.
Ooh, okay. Hey,
I don't
You
know.
think you
we
could
should
Joe?
put it to the test. I do. I'm pretty handy with an axe in the mall, though. You know, I throw
You would
those
take your
overalls
shirt
on, and
off first.
I'm through it in probably 30
Yeah.
seconds.
Mm.
So
Well, it took her like 10. She was through that thing quick.
I think we had a cutaway and then came back. So
I agree with you though. It probably would be a little trickier than it looked. In
I
that
didn't see the
scene, for
insulation
sure.
flying around either. So that's a cold house, I think.
That's what I'm saying. It was.
Right.
I don't know that there was that much to go through.
Yeah.
Why is Lonnie there too? Why?
Yeah,
what is he showing
him
up for?
showing up out of nowhere.
For the funeral, maybe.
That's right. We're having a funeral because we've seen
Mhm.
Will's
Okay,
dead
yeah.
body.
Good of him to show up for that.
Oh,
For his child's funeral.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a really upstanding dude.
that's true. All right. I don't have any more notes.
Scott, I'm glad you asked. We did get another entry from Hopper's diary. You asked about the diary.
From the National
Yeah,
Archives.
they sent me another one.
Yeah. I wrote them a letter to start sending those to me. They must not have got it.
Oh, interesting. Well, maybe next time.
Yeah.
This one goes like this. I can't really tell if this was before or after some of the events we just talked about, but it's around this time.
Okay.
He starts. Hopman's back again. I don't know. I don't know if he's trying to be a lyricist.
It's gotta be
or
before
what,
then.
But
It's after he found the body, but he's always in a good mood in his diary, but his
It's
exterior
weird. I
portrays
know,
something
right?
Right.
Like, I
different.
feel like
Such an outlet.
before he started writing that, he's like, he did his nervous tick.
Yeah. I can picture him laying on his bed.
Kicking his
Kicking
feet.
his feet,
Kicking his
like
feet.
showing his head. All right, so he goes, man, Joyce is deaf cray cray. I didn't even know if they talked like that back then, but I mean, Hopper's a little ahead
They
of his
don't, they write
time.
it
Like he's
down.
aware of Michael Jordan at North
He's from
Carolina.
the big city,
You know, he sees things coming to the future. So he says, stuff she has described to me would make a great horror movie. Particularly the part about a dude pushing through the wall. It would be cool if it were like some guy with severe burn scars that wears a fedora and haunts kids in their dreams.
specifically.
I mean, I think he is on to
the
something
timeline's
here.
wrong there. I don't know. Maybe he just hasn't seen it yet.
Well,
I think at this point it's already out.
yeah, I think I
He's
got
referring
the.
But he lives in
Freddie
that little
Krueger.
cabin in the woods. He doesn't
I
watch
might have
all
got
the
the
new
years
releases.
wrong too, by the way. But anyway, whatever. He's on to something there.
Okay.
Anyway, he wraps up. Based on some of the creatures or people that Joyce says she's seen, there's a good chance that, and I don't know why he wrote it like this, there's a good chance that quote, and he wrote little air quotes, they not like us, they not like us, they not like us.
Hopper wrote that.
Hopper wrote that.
Hopper from Stranger
Yeah,
Things wrote
he's
that.
talking about, whoever
Okay.
these people or whatever these things are that Joyce says. Good chance, just in case people didn't hear, good chance
Oh, it's just like
they not like us, they not like us, they not like us. Go Hoosiers,
Okay.
hop out. That's another entry from the National
That one
Archives.
might have taken the cake.
It was like a serious observation. Like they're not like us.
Well, he didn't say there.
then he drove
said
it home.
They not like us,
Well, maybe his grammar is poor.
Well, or maybe he's just cool like that. He talks in cool lyrical phrases.
But he's being like factual. Like they aren't like us. They don't look like us.
They not like us.
Okay.
He actually put little music quotes
That's what
around
he
it
wrote.
too.
I
Like
mean-
maybe he was writing a song or something. They not like us.
Wow, he's
So interesting.
okay. I need to talk to the.
I mean, it's
People
straight out of
sending me
National
these
Archives,
diaries.
Scott. It's national history.
Yeah, that's what you say.
Like it's government
I need to talk to
documents.
somebody.
I mean, you don't question the government.
Well. Okay. Well, thank you for that. That was episode 4 of Stranger Things. It's getting good now. We're getting to some deeper,
Fixing to uncover some
Hopefully.
things.
yeah.
I mean, Elle still can't
Get some
talk.
answers.
But
Will's
whatever.
alive. What? Barb? Who's Barb? We got to find Will.
And you're right. We didn't touch on that too much, but Hopper showed a lot of confidence cutting into that body. And he did such a good job of
Yes.
showing it on his face like 2 or 3 times. He's like, am I going to do this?
Yeah, he kind of hesitated, like,
Ugh.
and then he went
Did
for
you
it.
need to cut from here down? I mean, I feel like you could have just like started on the side of the leg or something. I mean, he was all in.
He went right
Yeah.
for the chest. Yep.
Good for Hopper.
Bam.
Good for Hopper.
He's an all-in kind of guy.
His confidence level was through the roof on that one.
But also, I guess at the end of the day, it's a cadaver. You're not going to hurt it.
It's kind of already done.
I mean,
It's like, well, I mean,
That's true.
for somebody else to clean
I'll have
up.
to keep that in mind.
Okay.
which part?
You never know.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for Stranger Things episode 4. This is Episodes Unscripted for Charlie Harcum, Shauna Fretwell. I am Scott Feltz. Thank you for joining us.
Hop out.